I'd like to welcome Emily Stoll. She is with Richland Library, and they have an award that they have received that is a huge honor. Also, they have some Wi-Fi capabilities for some residents. We're going to talk about that and so much more. I just want to welcome you to the show. And how have you been doing during this COVID pandemic, Emily?
Well, thank you so much for having us. You know, we're taking everything day by day, just like everyone else, hoping everyone is staying safe and healthy, and it is wonderful to see you.
Wonderful to see you as well. Now, you're sheltering at home right now, too.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, what about the library? Are you still open?
Our 13 locations remain closed, the buildings in the interest of public safety. One of the things that we have done since about mid-June is we've been offering limited services at 4 of our library pickup windows. So that's going to be our Ballantyne, our Northeast, our Sandhills, and our St. Andrews locations. You're able to request materials online, request holds. When you receive notification that those holds are available, you can designate them to one of those 4 pickup windows, and then you can access those materials at the pickup windows between 3 and 6 p.m. Mondays through Saturdays.
Awesome. Okay, now let's start talking about the free Wi-Fi hotspots that are going to be available to certain residents. How did that all come about?
Yes. So one of the things that we're all about is trying to figure out ways to connect with our customers. We know that we've been having to come up with new and creative ways, and we know that one of the things as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic is really identifying the fact that there is a lack of high-speed internet and broadband access, particularly in underserved areas in Richland County. And so we wanted to be able to offer that service, to offer that access. Currently, we do offer Wi-Fi access in our library parking lots, 12 of our 13 locations, with the exception of Richland Library Sandhills. That's part of the R2I2 building with Richland School District 2. But you were able to pull up to any parking lot. You're able to hop on the Wi-Fi, don't have to get out of your car. And that way you can access both a library card if you need one, and then you can also download those materials as well. But we wanted to go a step further because we know people are remote. We know that people are having to learn online, whether it be through schoolwork, whether it be trying to connect with loved ones, whether it be trying to move to digital platforms, which a lot of companies are doing. And so we developed a partnership with Columbia Housing. And so we delivered 65 Wi-Fi hotspots to Columbia Housing, and Columbia Housing is facilitating and distributing those Wi-Fi hotspots at 26 of its resident communities throughout Richland County. Okay. And so that will be over the course of the next year.
Oh, over the next year. That's awesome. Now, tell us, I know that there are still so many other people that still need access. Are you thinking about extending that to any other residents?
Yes, so we are looking at a number of different options, both funding and ways that we can connect with different groups in our community. So we are currently looking at that. As soon as those come to fruition, of course, we will share that publicly. But we know that there is a need in the community, and we want to be able to do our part to help connect, because this is an essential service. This has become an essential service, and I think that it's become especially noticed now more than ever during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Exactly. And it's just tragic that there are so many people who do not have access. And that is, like you said, a necessity in this time. And so that's a wonderful thing that you're doing. And you said you partnered with the Columbia Housing Authority on that.
Yes, okay. That is correct. So it's going to 26 of their resident communities, but we are looking at other options and other partners in the community. So we know we've gotten calls from customers. We know that this is a need. We know that this is certainly a need in our community, and we want to be able to provide that service.
Super. So now some good news. The Richland Library was awarded a grant that's going to help support small businesses. And this is huge because you are one of very few in the country to receive this grant. So talk to us about that.
Yes, so we are very fortunate. Google provided funding through the American Library Association, and they awarded to 13 libraries across the country, and it's a Libraries Building Businesses grant. So they funded our particular project that we put in for, which is called our Entrepreneurial Launchpad. And so with that Entrepreneurial Launchpad, we have 3 different segments under that. So for those who aren't familiar, we've been offering a Entrepreneur in Residence program over the last here. And so this is going to help us extend that residency. So we'll be able to bring in more entrepreneurs and more small business owners to share their knowledge, to share their expertise with the community. With our last entrepreneur in residence, that we used to have in-person programming, and then we also used to have in-person office hours, but obviously with the pandemic that shifted virtually, so we were able to offer online programs, and you were able to connect with our entrepreneur in residence that way. So we're hoping to continue that. We're also looking at different networking and business opportunities with one-on-one appointments. And the third is also buying more equipment for our library of things. And our library of things, you were able to check out high-tech equipment, so whether that be lighting kits, podcasting kits, backdrops, cameras, you're able to get access to this different equipment, be able to check it out for a certain time period, and then bring it back to us. But it's breaking down those barriers, and in particular, we're looking to be able to provide access for women-owned and minority-owned businesses.
All right, so how do you reach out to them? How do they know to access this program?
Yes, so over the next upcoming months, we're going to certainly shift our plan, because originally it was in person, so we're trying to figure out how to offer this in an online platform. So our hope is to be able to get these kits with some of our locations, be able to start offering those for reservation again in the coming months, and then also being able to offer those one-on-one appointments and some different programs with our entrepreneur in residence. And as soon as we set out the application, we'll certainly let the business community know. And then once we announce our next entrepreneur in residence, we're happy to share that with the community as well.
Okay. Let me ask you about access to Richland Library. Well, do you still have to be a member to be able to get access to the hotspot in the parking lot, or and online services? Do you need to be a member?
So no, our Wi-Fi is open to anyone in the community. Our programs are open to anyone in the community. You do not need to have a Richland Library card to be able to attend those. The only thing that you'll need access to the library card for will be our digital resources. So if you want to download an e-audiobook, an ebook, some of our magazines, access to television shows and movies, and then some of our different databases that we offer, you'll need access to that library card. It is free to Richland County residents, and then there is a small fee associated if you're an out-of-county resident and want to be able to access our resources. But to access Wi-Fi and programs, it is free and open to the public.
Did you guys have this in place before COVID as far as digital services? Or did you have to really? That is wonderful, because so you've already been pretty much prepared for this, for such a time as this.
And I would say the only thing that we did was monitor the volume and be able to amplify and put some different resources. So let's say there was a certain book that had a huge volume on hold, or a television show. We've been able to work with our different vendors to be able to limit those, because we know that there's that need and that access. So we've been able to bolster our digital collection, but it has always been available.
In terms of South Carolina libraries, where does Richland Library stand? Because getting this honor with Google to support small businesses, how did you land that?
Yes, well, I know that one of the great outcomes of this particular grant is we're going to be able to provide our experience and share that with other libraries so they can implement it at their locations, whether it be here in South Carolina or across the country. So it's really great. And I know that when they made the selection, they chose rural, suburban, urban libraries spanning all parts of the country. And so we were very fortunate to be able to showcase how we want to break down barriers, and in particular for women and minority-owned businesses. We're really looking to see how we can provide, especially during this time. We know that there are also economic implications as a result of the pandemic. So being able to support employment, being able to support our small businesses, we want to do our part and share different resources and connections that we have in the community.
And you're also doing something with race relations as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so this actually started back in 2015 as a result of the Manual 9, as a result of the Confederate flag coming down. Our library developed a social awareness task force, and that has developed over the years into our Let's Talk Race team,
Okay.
So back in 2017, by that time we had about a dozen staff members who were trained to help facilitate conversations. We started to hold Let's Talk Race discussions, again, in-person programming. And so we held those quarterly. It was a great way to be able to have courageous conversations, to have people from all different walks of life, all different opinions come together and have honest dialogue and listen and learn. And so we've been able to continue those now virtually online.
Okay.
So we held our first one at the beginning of July, and we're holding another one at the end of July, and we hope to continue these and hopefully be able to announce another initiative coming up in the coming month or so. But we know there is a need for this conversation in our community, and we want to be able to provide that safe space to have these discussions.
How can someone be a part of the discussion?
Yes, so you can go to richlandlibrary.com under our events tab, or you can give any Richland Library location a phone call. They're all being routed to our main switchboard. We're happy to register you for the program, and you can either do that online, or you can also attend over the phone. Again, we just ask in advance that you register so you get that phone number or you get that link to log into the program. The programs have been about 2 hours, and they fly by. It is the fastest 2 hours that you will go through, and it is incredible to hear from different members of our community share their stories.
Any other initiatives you would like to talk about while I have you on?
Yes, certainly. So I would go back to our business and careers. We also developed a web page, which is richlandlibrary.com/small business or /employment. You can go to either one and it will take you to the same space. So depending on your particular circumstance, you can go through and say you're under the employment portion. And maybe I was furloughed. It may be I'm an artist who's trying to get some money. Under small business, it may be the fact that, I'm a small business and I have less than 50 employees or more than 50 employees, or I want to find a way to help my employees through this process. So we'll go through, give you some different questions. You're able to choose your path, and then it will provide a list of resources that are available on a local, state, and national level.
Now, if anyone would like to get a library card or access any of your services online, what would they do?
Yes, so they can give, again, any of our locations a call, all being routed to our main switchboard, and we can certainly get you connected that way over the phone. Or you can go to richlandlibrary.com under our services tab and get a library card. We'll ask you a couple of questions, provide you with a temporary library card, and that way you can immediately access all those digital resources that we discussed earlier. And then when we return to normal hours of operation and our buildings reopen, then we'll be able to provide you that permanent library card in person once it's safe to do so.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
I also did one. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask that it's a permanent card, but do you have to renew every year?
No, so as long as you continue to use it, I believe the barrier is about 2 years. Then you may have to go back in, but as long as you continue to use it, then it is good to go. If you are an out-of-county resident, you will have to pay that annual fee.
Annual fee, okay. All right. And then what were you going to say? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. I know sometimes aren't aware that our library has a social work department.
You have a social work department.
Yes, and so our social workers are able to connect local residents with different resources in the community, whether that be affordable housing, healthcare, whether that be food stamps, any sort of legal assistance. Also, one of the big things that we've been seeing over the last few months has been rent and utility assistance, and also ways to help connect with stimulus checks, particularly if you haven't filed your taxes. And so we're able to do step-by-step, have an appointment over the phone, and that way we can get you connected with the different needs. But our social workers are amazing. They put together an entire guide that with United Way and have been sharing it over the last few months.
It's like having your own 211 within Richland Library. This is awesome. You saved the best for last. Emily Stoll, Richland Library. It's been a pleasure again. You said richlandlibrary.com to access everything we've been talking about today.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. And again, we hope everyone stays safe and healthy during this time.